The cure of nervousness. It is a well-known fact that a considerable majority of the people in this country are addicted more or less to nervousness in one or more of its many forms. And as nervousness is the direct cause of all mental ills, and the indirect cause of a great many physical ills, organic as well as functional, there are few things that would be more important than that of finding a method through which health for the nerves could be secured. How to cure this malady has long been a problem. Medicine as rule avail but little, and the various forms of other therapeutic systems reach but a limited number. It is therefore that the discovery of a remedy that could reach all cases, or nearly all cases, would easily be considered one of the most remarkable discoveries of the age. We may safely state that when people learn to keep the nervous system in perfect order, there will be very few cases of insanity, if any, and physical diseases will be reduced at least 1/2. In addition to this, the power and capacity of the mind will be increased to a very great degree. The majority of the fine minds in the world fail to do all they are capable of doing, because their talents are interfered with by nervous troubles of some kind. And these troubles not only tend to reduce the amount of mental energy, but also confuse the intellect and almost invariably misdirect the imagination. There is scarcely a mind living of exceptional ability or genius that is not addicted to the nervousness of some form, and that any mind can do its best under such conditions are impossible. The fact is, if nervousness were completely removed from the race, more than half of the physical ills, and nearly all the mental ills, would be removed. The strength and endurance of the body would be increased remarkably, and the capacity of the mind would in most instances are practically doubled. That a perfect remedy for nervousness would therefore prove a great boon, to say the least, is evident. And a remedy has been found that fulfills all the requirements, because from its very nature it simply cannot fail. This remedy will give health to the nerves in every case where it is used, and it is so simple that all who will apply it can do so successfully. That this remedy will remove nervousness in a very instance may seem impossible. But when we examine the nature of the remedy, we find that its never-failing effectiveness lies in its power to remove the remote cause of what may be termed the immediate cause of this ailment. That condition of the system that we call nervousness comes from discord in the nerve fluid, or what may be called confused vibrations in the electromagnetic energies of the body. This is the immediate cause, but back of this cause there is a remote cause, that is, that condition that originally produces the confused vibrations in those energies. The nerve fluid we speak of may be termed human electricity, as its nature and actions correspond exactly with electrical currents. It is much finer in quality than ordinary electricity. The human brain may accordingly be termed a dynamo because those fine currents are generated there, and the nerves may be termed the wires that carry this fluid or electricity to every part of the body. The functions of this nerve fluid are many. Every thought, state, condition, or action produced in the mind is carried all through the body over these nerves or wires, by the force of this fluid. And in return everything that is taking place throughout the system is conveyed to the brain by the same process. The nervous system is, therefore, a human telegraph system through which the mind is constantly kept informed concerning the events of its world, and constantly giving directions about what is to be done in every part of its world, and we can readily understand how false news or information can be transmitted, and how urgent news can be delayed in its passage, should these finer electrical currents are disturbed. When a person is suffering from nervousness he is frequently deluded concerning the conditions of his system, the reason being that he is getting false news because the telegraph system is not in perfect order. In like manner, such a person may fail to get the exact facts concerning his conditions. There may be conditions brewing in his system of which he is not aware, because the news is lost on the way. The same state of affairs, however, is frequently brought about by drugs. When you take drugs to stop the pain, you do not remove the pain. You simply deaden the nerves so that the sensation or news of the pain cannot be carried to the brain. Occasionally such a process may be permissible. But if we interfere too much with the news-carrying function of the nervous system, we will cripple it to such an extent that most of the sensations received will be false or magnified. When people imagine that they have ills that do not exist in their systems, a crippled or perverted the nervous system is generally the cause. They are getting false news about their conditions, and they think it is true because it seems so real. Not everything is true, however, that seems real. The fact is that the more disturbance and perversion there is in the nervous system, the more real will also its false impressions appear to be. And the reason is that a disturbed nervous system is abnormally sensitive. Another function of the nervous system is to transmit creative energy to every part of the body. Every cell in the system is constructed or repaired by creative energy, and this energy is conveyed by the nerve that enters the locality of that cell. Consequently, when the nervous system is out of order, the process of repair, or cell construction, will be retarded in many places. When this process is interfered with, or the normal activities of the process are disturbed, the system will not only be left in bad repair, but false growths may be produced. When the creative forces are disturbed or misdirected in any part of the system, they cannot continue in normal cell construction, but will in many instances begin to produce false cell construction. In this manner tumors, cancers, goiters, cataracts and all sorts of unnatural growths may originate. And in this connection we should remember that practically all abnormal growths in the human system can be traced back to nervous conditions of some form. Perfect health for the nerves, therefore, if maintained all through life, would absolutely prevent all such unnatural growths in the human system. When the creative energies of the system continue in their normal activities, no unnatural growth can possibly be formed, and to keep those energies in their normal state of action, the nervous system must be in order, that is, every nerve must be in good health. To go into details and outline fully the various effects that follow the actions of the nerve fluid would lead us into every phase of physiological psychology, and volumes would be required. It is not our purpose, however, to present a full treatise on this vast subject in this connection, but simply to present in the briefest manner possible the practical application of an effective remedy for the nerves. The various effects of the nerve fluid in all its functions will be right when the cause is right, and the cause is right when the vibrations of the electricity of the body are normal. To produce and maintain such normal vibrations must therefore be our purpose. It has been stated that confusion among the vibrations of the nerve forces is the immediate cause of nervousness. And also that this force is generated in the brain, therefore, to find the cause of this confusion we must go to the brain. Or rather to the mind. When we analyze the mind, we find that every mental attitude produces a corresponding action in the brain and modifies to a degree the forces that are generated in the brain. As the brain is the dynamo generating nerve forces, or the electrical forces of the nervous system, it is evident that a disturbed mental state producing a corresponding action in the brain will confuse the vibrations of the forces generated in the brain during that particular state of mind. To remove every confused attitude or disturbed state from the mind would, therefore, seem to be the perfect remedy. But this would constitute complete prevention, and not necessarily a remedy for effective use when actual nervousness was present. To prevent all nervousness, one must become master over his thoughts and feelings and learn to create only those mental states that have a harmonious and wholesome effect upon the body, but this requires a thorough understanding of metaphysics, and also considerable time. In fact, it would necessarily be a steady growth. Besides, many of the disturbing mental states are in the subconscious, and cannot be removed until the entire mentality is renewed. To renew and perfect the subconscious as well as the conscious mind, should be the constant purpose of every person, but while he is changing his mind, his thought and his life, he must have some method to emancipate himself from those conditions, the adverse causes of which have not been removed. Though we may be working for complete prevention, Still, while this work remains incomplete, we need quick and ready remedies to remove the results of our mistakes, past or present. If we continue to work for complete prevention, we will soon arrive at a place where our mistakes will be reduced to a minimum. But until we reach that state, we must have remedies or methods that will remove the mistakes at once, so that no other ill effect may follow. Then, again, there are thousands that have not the power to remain undisturbed in the midst of the world's confusion. They are constantly meeting discord, and need present help to prevent such discord from producing detrimental effects. We, therefore, need effective remedies for the present, as well as a system of thinking and living through which we may gradually provide complete prevention. When we analyze the various conditions that disturb the nerves, we find that a disturbed state of mind is the remote cause. Therefore, peaceful states of mind must be the remedy. Disturbing states of mind will disturb the electric energies generated in the brain. And as these energies follow the nerves all through the system, the entire system will be in discord accordingly. On the other hand, peaceful states of mind will cause the electric energies generated in the brain to become calm, serene and harmonious, and as those energies are, so will be the entire nervous system. When we create only peaceful states of mind, there will be no discord whatever in the system. And when discord disappears, nervousness will also disappear. When disturbed mental states have already been produced, they can be counteracted before they enter the nervous system, and their undesirable effects avoided. The process is simple and may be applied effectually by anyone. In the first place, life and thought should be made as calm, serene, and peaceful as possible, and, secondly, every cause of disturbance or nervousness, either acute or chronic, conscious or subconscious, should be removed by cultivating serenity and peace. While the nerve force is still in the brain, you can modify its vibrations by changing the actions in the mind. But after this force has entered the spinal cord, it will continue in its original vibrations until it has permeated the system. This force, therefore, must be acted upon before it enters the spinal cord. And since it responds readily to every action of the mind, a complete change can be made if produced in the proper place. To reach the energies of the brain directly, the mind should act upon the brain center, a point exactly midway between the opening of the ears. Draw an imaginary line from ear to ear through your brain, and divide that line in the center. At this point, you will find the region of the brain center. In the region of the brain center, the energy or nerve force that has been generated in the brain is transferred to the spinal cord, from whence it goes to every part of the system. To change the vibrations of this force, therefore, before it enters the spinal cord, the mind must act upon the brain center and must produce through that action the very condition that is desired in the nervous system as a whole. That state of mind that is impressed upon the brain center will cause all the nerve forces coming from the brain to be identical with the mental state itself, both in nature and action. Therefore, to impress upon the brain center a mental state of perfect harmony, calmness, and poise, will cause the nerve force as it proceeds from the brain to become calm, harmonious and poised, and will accordingly convey calmness, harmony, and poise to every part of the system. When these calm nerve currents begin to pass through the system, every form of nervousness will begin to disappear, and relief will be felt at once. All weak actions of the heart will also cease and normal action be secured. Because all heart troubles, practically, come from disturbances in the nervous system. To concentrate upon the brain center in the attitude of peace will cause the heart to become normal in its actions in a few moments, and if this method is employed several times every day for 5 or 10 minutes, what is usually spoken of as heart disease will disappear without giving the least thought or attention to the heart itself. To apply this method perfectly, turn your attention upon the brain center and concentrate gently upon this point while you are thinking calmly but deeply of poise, peace, serenity, and harmony. Try to feel at the time that everything at the brain center is still, perfectly still, that all is quiet, easy, and at rest. Here we should remember that while this method is being employed, we should not think of mind or body in the least. But all thought should be directed upon that peaceful state that we imagine is being produced at the brain center. If you can focus your whole attention upon the brain center at the time and feel that all the energies of mind and brain are moving gently toward the brain center, you are going to realize perfect harmony throughout your system, even in a few seconds. This peaceful state of mind will soon penetrate the entire region of the brain center. And all the energies that are passing from the brain to the spinal cord, and thence to the nervous system, will change and become calm and serene, as that condition is at the brain center through which those energies always pass. And as these are the only energies that act directly through the nervous system, all nervousness must disappear when those energies themselves become serene. When this method is being applied, it is best to be comfortably seated, or better still, to lie down with the mind and body relaxed, eyes closed, and all attention withdrawn from outer things. Then have but one purpose in view: to penetrate the brain center with a mental life of absolute peace and calm. The more quietly and the more easily you go about this practice, the better you will succeed. And to try to draw gently the finer mental forces toward the brain center as you think of the finer forces of your mind, will aid remarkably in producing immediate results. It is well to breathe deeply, but gently, during the exercise, which may be continued for 5 or 10 minutes, and repeated several times every day. To combine physical breathing with this exercise, in any particular manner, will be found very helpful. And to this end proceed as follows: while you inhale physically, try to draw the finer forces of mind and brain toward the brain center, and while you exhale physically, try to feel that those finer forces are moving with calmness and peace down through your body toward the feet. To combine physical breathing with what might be called inhalation and exhalation of the finer forces of the mind will, when carried out effectually, be found to be a method of incalculable value in all conditions of nervousness or mental disturbance. Everyone, therefore, will find it profitable to practice this method until it can be carried out to perfection. When results begin to appear, an inner comfort will be felt that is delightful, and every nerve in the system will be quiet. In this connection, it is well to remember that the quiet nerve is the only nerve that is doing its work properly. Whenever you feel excited, agitated or disturbed, apply this method and immediately harmony will be restored, thus preventing both ills and mistakes. It will compose the system, restore the heart to its normal action, and give the creative energies that perfect poise that is so necessary to the keeping of the system in purity and repair. This method will also remove weariness and the tired feeling, because both mind and body are invariably recharged with energy when they are placed in perfect poise. When this method is employed daily and properly, nervousness in every form will disappear, perfect health for the nerves will be secured, and the system will be placed in a higher degree of harmony, a state that is most valuable in the promotion of physical or mental development. To try to feel the finer essence of the life of the mind while concentrating in poise upon the brain center is very important. Because when the finer life is felt, the subconscious will be impressed. And when perfect peace is conveyed to the subconscious, the good work is done. When the subconscious becomes calm and serene in all its actions, every atom in the system will work in perfect harmony, and every action, no matter how rapid or how strong, will be absolutely calm and serene. An important essential in the cure of nervousness is to remove the tendency to think or act unconsciously. Unconscious action, that is, doing one thing while thinking about something else, will produce divided attention. And a divided attention leads to a decrease in the power of self-control. So long as the attitude of self-possession and self-control is perfect, nervousness will be impossible. But the moment the mind begins to lose its hold upon the various functions of the system, nervousness will begin. What is called nervousness is nothing but confused action among the nerve energies. And as the mind is the original cause of every action that takes place in the human system, confused action anywhere in the system must come originally from confused mental action. The fundamental cause of confused mental action is divided attention. And divided attention comes from having several things on the mind at once. One thing at a time should be the law. You may have 1,000 duties to perform every day, but give direct attention to only one at a time. Train yourself to do this, and you will be absolutely free from nervousness all your life. A breakdown in the nervous system does not come from overwork, but from the scattering of your forces, and it is only through the dividing of your attention that your forces can be scattered. The dividing of attention, however, may be produced in a number of ways. To try to do too many things at once is one cause, living a complex life is another cause, though the principal cause is usually found in the reckless use of the imagination. The majority do not know how to apply the imagination constructively, and therefore its actions are, as a rule, helter-skelter. The result is confused mental action, to be followed later by confused actions among the nerve forces. The same is true in all forms of life and thought where imagination is carried off, so to speak, into all sorts of abnormal states through excitement or various forms of mental intoxication. Mental confusion is the result, and when the forces of the mind are going helter-skelter, the forces of the nerves will do the same because the nervous system is directly connected with the brain in general. As with every individual action that takes place in the brain, when the energy of the system runs low, every function of the body or mind, including the imagination, is crippled to a degree in its effort to continue normal actions. The result is abnormal or confused action, which may be followed by the sickness of some kind, or by a nervous breakdown. But the original cause of a lack of energy in the system is not always physical. Physical dissipation, burning the candle at both ends, will reduce the energy of the body, and there is also such a thing as mental dissipation, some of the chief elements of which are anger, worry, excitement, mental depression, despondency, discouragement, reckless thinking and a reckless imagination. Energy may therefore be wasted, both physically and mentally, but every action of waste comes originally from the mind because the body can do nothing unless the mind originates the action. To remove the cause of nervousness, there are two factors to be considered. First, the vital energy of the system must be kept full and strong at all times. When vitality is insufficient, normal action becomes impossible. To cease normal action is to begin abnormal action. Abnormal action leads to confusing action, and confused action leads to nervousness. Second, a mental disorder in all its forms must be removed completely, and this is accomplished by removing the habit of dividing attention. In brief, to remove the cause of nervousness, train yourself to give your whole attention now to whatever you may be thinking of or doing now, and so think and live that your system will be brimful of energy at all times. When you are constantly full of vital energy and are constantly using your energy in the actions of harmony, poise, and self-possession, you will never be nervous. The abundance of power in all your actions and perfect poise in all your actions are the two secrets.